To receive updates on the most recent developments and original reporting on the Israeli conflict as they become available, subscribe to our channel. If you enjoyed watching our videos, please click the Super Thanks button. Israel has implemented considerable anti-Hamas measures. More than 300,000 Israeli soldiers have been dispatched to the Gaza Strip to conduct a ground offensive aimed at ousting the supposed Hamas leadership from Israel and the remainder of Palestinian land. As a result, key Hamas terror figures have been removed from the Strip settlements of Gaza, Ashkelon, Ashdod, Tel Aviv, and Netanya in recent days. Over the last 13 days, Israeli soldiers have detained at least 850 Hamas supporters and activists during searches in the West Bank and Jerusalem. The IDF has detained at least 120 of them while they were asleep in the last 24 hours. Following the deaths of numerous Israelis as a result of Hamas attacks, the IDF has increased its operations against Hamas in Gaza, Tel Aviv, the West Bank, and Haifa. According to Israeli authorities, 1,400 Israelis have been killed. The terror organization Hamas has killed thousands of people in Gaza. Some in Gaza claim that Hamas does not speak for them and instead incites violence against Israel's defense forces. This is the current situation in Gaza. The IDF is fighting terrorists who govern and occupy Gaza while also attempting to free civilians from their clutches. Overnight, Israeli jets attacked and killed prominent Hamas figure Rafat Abu Hilal, according to Israeli Defense Force spokesman Daniel Hagari. According to Hamas radio station, Jamila al-Shanti, the wife of Hamas co-founder Abdulaziz al-Rantizi and the first woman elected to Hamas political council, was killed in an Israeli bombing. That is, the IDF was systematically eliminating alleged representatives of terrorist elements. Despite Hamas claims that the majority of its members and leaders have been killed in IDF attacks, Israel today activated its intelligence services and began morning raids targeting senior Hamas figures. Hania, the de facto leader of Hamas and the IDF's main target, had an unexpected deputy in the dawn raids. According to the IDF, they raided the West Bank home of a top Hamas terror leader and arrested several of his followers. The detainee has been identified as Salah al-Arori by the IDF. Ismail Haniyeh, the founder and leader of Hamas, appointed Salah al-Arori as his deputy. According to Israeli sources, al-Arori, which is headquartered in Lebanon, has become a major target for Israel following the 7th of October attacks, in which Hamas terrorists from Gaza attacked southern Israel, killing at least 1,400 people, mainly civilians, and seizing over 200 hostages. This is why the IDF's operation to apprehend Hamas's leader was similarly clandestine and circumspect. At dawn, Israeli soldiers broke into Arori's home in Aurora village, about 20 kilometers north of Ramallah. One of Arori's brothers and 9 of his terror supporters were detained, as were the mayor, Ali al-Kasib, and eyewitnesses. Along with Arori, numerous other people were detained for questioning. According to an Israeli military statement, dozens of Hamas members, including Arori's inner circle, were captured in an operation coordinated with Israel's Shin Bet internal security organization. Israel has accused Arori, who was elected Haniyeh's deputy in 2017, of coordinating a number of attacks. According to the IDF, Arori was released from an Israeli jail in 2010 after serving nearly 20 years there. However, Arori was linked to terrorist activity again after the fighting, and the IDF ultimately caught him this time. With this critical operation, Israeli intelligence and IDF military personnel delivered one of the most severe blows to Hamas. Both Hamas members and supporters are outraged by the IDF's seizure of a deputy Hamas leader in a West Bank city that has recently seen violence and disorder. Following the operation, a banner with the words, "After the capture of the alleged Hamas leader," against an Israeli flag background, was placed outside the house. The Israeli spy service, Abu al-Nimr, made Salah al-Arori's house their headquarters. It was unclear who hung the sign, but once the terrorist cell was apprehended, many people presumably expressed a deep dislike for Hamas and decried the group's misdeeds. According to residents, Abu al-Nimr is an alias for the Israeli intelligence man in charge of the region. Since the arrest of the terrorist group's deputy leader, the IDF has escalated its use of dawn raids and surprise operations in the West Bank. Is there a strategy in place for the IDF's operations in Gaza? As of today, everyone is aware that the IDF is preparing to conduct a ground offensive. However, there are preparations that an army must make before launching a ground offensive. The first is to coordinate Air Force fighter planes and helicopter strikes. These strikes weaken and eventually destroy the elements of the enemy. Gaza uses the same method, but from the sea. Everything was witnessed by us. Air, land, and sea units from the Israeli defense units have sealed the territory. Artillery from Israeli ground soldiers is attacking Hamas strongholds in Gaza, while Israeli Air Force jets are hitting targets 24/7. IDF Navy forces have pursued Hamas off Gaza using attack boats. IDF's next step is obvious. Israel plans to bomb Hamas with F-35s, 16s, and 15s. The IDF is determined to eliminate Hamas in its retaliation attacks. Iron Swords is expected to be the longest and bloodiest Gaza conflict since Israel's founding. In preparation for a land assault, the IDF has activated 300,000 reservists in 2 weeks. If a ground invasion occurs, the Israeli Air Force will bomb Gaza targets to remove Hamas forces and assets. Israel's Air Force relies on F-35 Lightning IIs, F-16 Fighting Falcons, and F-15 Eagles from the U.S. In 2010, the IDF became the first army to get a modified F-35 from the Joint Development Group of 9 nations. A formidable fighter plane with many devastating powers, the Mighty One is considered the most powerful ever. In addition to locally built air-to-air missiles and guided bombs, the Israeli Air Force version incorporates a helmet-mounted display, a data link, and other advanced data collection and processing capabilities. The airframe can readily identify hostile frequencies and jam or disable their equipment because of its cutting-edge electronic warfare technology. The F-35 is unmatched in capability, but aircraft lack the range Israel needs for long-distance operations without refueling. With almost 300 F-16s, the IAF has the largest F-16 unit outside the U.S. Air Force. Such as the Adir and the Sufa have domestic capabilities such as fuel tanks that increase jet flight range by 50%. Sufa's sophisticated electronic warfare capabilities may have a major influence in other ways. The F-16I has the Rafael Python 5 air-to-air missile, according to Air Force technology. Python may fifth lock on after a flight using infrared picture guidance. The new Seeker uses a dual wavelength focal plane array and effective infrared countermeasures. Last Monday, the IAF revealed images of the EX-Sufa fighter plane with 4 GBU-31J DAM bombs and 2 air-to-air missiles. The IAF's backbone since its founding over 40 years ago has been the F-15 Thunder. The RAM is a superb IAF asset because it can carry 11.5 tons of ammunition and fuel. At 40 miles, APG-701 radars can detect ground targets like missile launch systems, making these planes more deadly. RAM's experience in 2007 in Lebanon, Gaza, and Operation Pillar of Defense makes him an important IAF asset in the Hamas war. Israel appears to be defeating Hamas using the IDF Air Force. We value your follow. You can count on us to provide accurate news 24/7. Please subscribe to our channel, like our videos, and click the super thank you button below to avoid missing our team's latest Israeli war videos with unique news. We'll work again soon.